name is Judy Rethwisch, and I've just finished one of my favorite shows, Harvey, by Mary Chase. And this is November 2023.
I welcome you to the Judy Rethwisch Auditorium for Affton High School's fall production, Harvey. Is this on? I don't think so. That's okay, I can project anyways. I'm an actor, I'm used to it. So, I have been going to this theater for 4 years. I'm Liz. I student directed this show. And I am so proud of everyone who worked on this with me. We've been working on it since the summer, so I'd like to give special thanks to our crew, our actors, our tech directors, my personal director assistant, David McKenzie, and of course, our lovely theater director, Miss R. And Act 2. Our second will also be 10 minutes long in between Act 2 and Act 3. During that time, you can go to our concession stand in the lobby. When the lights flicker, please be seated. Please silence your phones now. And please, no flash photography between you and me. Harvey is a little camera shy. So, without further ado, enjoy the show.
Mrs. Simmons is my mother, but she has guests this afternoon. Who wants her? Oh, wait just a minute. Hang on just a minute. Psst, Mother! Psst, Mother!
Yes, dear?
Telephone.
Oh, no, dear, not with all of them out there. Say I'm busy.
But Mother, it's the society editor of the evening news.
Oh, the society editor. Oh, she's very important. Good afternoon, Miss Ellerby. This is Vita Simmons. Yes, a tea reception for the members of the Wednesday Forum. You might say a program tea. My mother, you know, the late Marcella Penny Dowd, pioneer cultural leader. She came here by Austin as a child, and she founded the Wednesday Forum. Myrtle, how many would you say?
75 at least. Say 100.
75. Miss Tewksbury is the soloist, accompanied by Wilda McCurdy, accompanist.
Come on, Mrs. Tewksbury's almost finished with her number.
She'll do an encore.
But what if they don't give her a lot of applause?
Darling, I've known her for years. She'll do an encore. You might say I am entertaining, assisted by my daughter, Miss Myrtle May Simmons. What color would you call that?
Rancho Rose, they told me.
Miss Myrtle May Simmons looks charming in a modish Rancho Rose toned crepe, picked up at the girdle with a touch of magenta on emerald. Oh, I wish you could see her, Miss Ellerby.
Mother, please. She's almost finished, and where's the cateress?
Everything's ready. The moment she's finished singing, we open those dining room doors and begin pouring. The parlors and halls are festooned with smilax. Yes, festooned. That's right. Yes, this is the first party we've had in years. There's a reason for it, but I don't want it in the papers. We all have our troubles, Miss Ellerby. The guest list. Oh, yes.
Mother, come.
If you'll excuse me, Miss Ellerby, I'll talk to you later.
Oh, Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet just came in.
Mrs. Chauvenet, Senior. Her father was a scout for Buffalo Bill.
So that's where she got that hat.
Myrtle May, you must be nice to Mrs. Chauvenet. She has a grandson about your age.
But what difference will it make with Uncle Elwood?
Myrtle May. Remember, we agreed not to talk about that this afternoon. The whole point of this party is to get you started. We work through those older women to the younger group.
But we can't have anyone here in the evenings, and that's when the men come to see you, in the evenings. The only reason we can even have a party this afternoon is because Uncle Elwood is playing pinochle at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. Thank God for the firehouse.
I know. They'll just have to invite you out, and it won't hurt them one bit. Myrtle, you've got so much to offer. I don't care what anyone says. There's something sweet about every young girl. And a man takes that sweetness and look what he does with it. But you've got to meet somebody, Myrtle. That's all there is to it.
And if I do, they say that's Myrtle May Simmons. Her uncle's Ellen P. Dowd, the biggest screwball in town. Ellen P. Dowd and his
You
pal.
promised.
All right, let's get them into the dining room.
Now, when the members come in here and you make your little welcome speech on behalf of your grandmother, be sure to do this.
And then after that, I mention my Uncle Elwood and say a few words about his pal Harvey. Damn Harvey!
Oh, Myrtle May, that's right. Let all the members of the Wednesday Forum hear you. Oh, you said that name. You promised you wouldn't say that name, and you said it.
I'm sorry, but how do you know that Uncle Elwood won't come in and introduce Harvey to everybody?
This is unkind of you, Myrtle May. Elwood is the biggest heartache I have. And even if people do call him peculiar, he's still my brother. And besides, we'll be home this afternoon.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
But Mother, why can't we live like other people?
Must I remind you again? Elwood is not living with us. We are living with Elwood.
Living with him and Harvey. Did Grandmother know about Harvey?
I've wondered and wondered about that for years. She never wrote me if she did.
Why did she have to leave all her property to Uncle Elwood anyway?
I suppose it was because she died in his arms. People are sentimental about things like that.
You always say that, and it doesn't make any sense. She couldn't make out her will after she died, could she?
Don't be didactic, Myrtle May. It's not becoming of a young girl, and besides, men loathe it. Now, don't forget to wave your hand.
I'll do my best.
Oh, Miss Tewksbury's voice is certainly fading.
But not fast enough.
Lovely, Miss Tewksbury. Perfectly lovely. I loved it.
Come right on in. I know that's your favorite chair. I'll set your coat on the back of it. Do you want your hat? No? Oh, well, you'll excuse me, Harvey. I have to answer the telephone. Make yourself comfortable. Hello? Oh, why yes, this is Elwood P. Dowd speaking. I'll do. Well, thank you. And to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking to? Miss Elsie Greenawalt. Harvey, it's Miss Elsie Greenawalt. How are you this evening, Miss Greenawalt? Oh, why yes, I would love to join your club. Oh, I'm a part of several clubs now. The University Club, the Country Club, and the Peanut Club at 4th Avenue Firehouse. I spend a good deal of my time there. And at Eddie's place. And at Charlie's place. Harvey. Get good housekeeping. Room service. And the newspaper for $6.25 for 2 years. I'll take it. Oh, how does that sound to you, Harvey? Oh, Harvey says it sounds fine to him also. Yes, yes. 2 subscriptions, please. Mail everything to this address. Well, I do hope I get to eventually meet you, Miss Greenwald. Harvey, she said she wants to come meet me. When? Oh, when, Miss Greenwald? When would you like to meet me? Oh, well, why don't you come over right now? My sister seems to be having a party, and he would be delighted to have you come over. Yes, come over right away. 343 Temple Drive. I do hope to see you in a very few short minutes. Goodbye now. Harvey, don't you think we ought to freshen up for our guest a little bit? Yes, I think so too. Come along now. After you.
I can't seem to remember where I put that guest list. Oh, I must read it to Miss Ellerby. Have you seen it, Miss Johnson?
Oh, no, I haven't, Mrs. Simmons.
Look on my dresser.
Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet, she's asking for you. Here's Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet. Here she is.
Vida Louise Simmons! I thought you were dead! No, I'm very much alive, thank you. Oh, and this full-grown girl's your daughter! Oh, I've known you since you were a baby!
I know.
What's your name again, dear? This is Myrtle and Ethel. Myrtle, for the 2 sisters of her father. He's dead, that's what confused you. Oh. Where's Elwood? He couldn't be here today, Aunt Ethel. Now, let me give you some tea. Elwood isn't here? No. Oh, shame on him! That's the main reason I came! I wanted to see Elwood! Oh, come now, Aunt Ethel. There are plenty of people anxious to speak to you. But do you realize, Vida, it's been years since I've seen Elwood? No. Where does the time go? But I just don't understand it! I was saying to Mr. Chauvenet just the other night, what on earth do you suppose happened to Elwood Dowd? I haven't seen him at the country club in years, or any horse shows. Tell me, Vida, does Elwood see anybody nowadays? Oh, yes, Aunt Ethel. Elwood sees somebody.
Oh, yes.
Your uncle, dear child, is one of my favorite people in the world. Always has been. Yes, I remember. Oh, why, there's Mrs. Frank Cummings, just came in. Don't you want to speak to her? Oh, my! She just looks ghastly. Oh, hasn't she failed, though? Well, if you think she looks badly, you should see him. Is that so? I must invite them over for dinner sometime then. I thought she was dead. No. Now about that tea, Vida? Oh, certainly. If you'll forgive me, I will precede you. Oh! Elwood! Elwood, be down! Oh, bless your heart!
Oh, Aunt Ethel, what a pleasure to come in and find a beautiful young woman waiting for me.
Oh, Elwood, you haven't changed. Come along, Aunt Ethel, you mustn't miss the party.
There's punch if you don't like tea.
I like tea. Stop pulling on me, you two. Elwood, what time next week can you come over for dinner?
Well, anytime at all, Aunt Ethel. I would be delighted.
Elwood, I brought some mail up to your room. Won't you go see it?
Oh, did you, Vida? That was very kind of you. And Ethel, I would like you to meet a very dear friend of mine, Harvey. Now, as you can see, he's a puka. Harvey, you've heard me speak of Miss Chauvenet before. We've always called her Aunt Ethel. She is one of my oldest and dearest friends. Yes. This is the one. She is the one. He says he would have known you anywhere. Oh my, you both look lovely. Oh, well, if you will, excuse me for just one moment, Aunt Ethel. Oh, if you do, beg my pardon.
What?
You're standing in his way. Just... Thank you. Come along, Harvey. We mustn't keep our guests waiting. Oh, you go right on in, Harvey. I'll catch up with you in a minute. Aunt Ethel, I can see that you are disturbed about Harvey. Please don't be. He stares like that at everybody. It's his way. He liked you very much, I can tell.
Some tea, perhaps? Not right now. I think I should be running along. But I'm so sorry. I'll call you soon. Goodbye. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Myrtle, where are you going?
Up to my room. He's introducing Harvey to everybody. I can't face those people now. I wish I were dead.
Oh, come back here. Stay with me. We'll get him out of there and up to his room.
I won't do it. I can't.
Myrtle, May. Pretend I'm fixing your corsage. Oh, Mother. We've got to. Pretend we're having a gay little chat. Keep looking. When you catch his eye, tell me. He always comes when I call him. Now then, do you see him yet?
No, not yet. How do you do, Mrs. Cummings?
Well, smile, can't you? Have you no pride? I'm smiling. And he's my own brother.
Oh, Mother, people get run over by trucks every day. Why can't something like that happen to Uncle Elwood?
Myrtle, hey, serious. I'm ashamed of you. This thing is not your uncle's fault. Oh, that's Miss Ellerby. Keep looking, keep smiling.
Oh, Mrs. Cummings is leaving. Uncle Elwood must have told her where Harvey is. Oh, God.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Vita Simmons. Should you come in what you have on? Well, what have you on? Who is this? But I don't know any Miss Greenewald. Should you what? May I ask who invited you? Mr. Dowd! Well, thank you just the same, but I believe there's been a mistake. Oh, well, I never!
Never what?
One of your Uncle Elwood's friends. She asked if she should bring a quart of gin to the Wednesday forum.
Oh, there he is. He's talking to Mrs. Halsey.
Oh, is Harvey with him?
What's a thing to ask? How could I tell? How could anybody tell but Uncle Elwood?
Oh, Elwood, could you come out here for a moment? I need to speak with you about something. I promise you this is the last time your uncle has disgraced us in this house. I'm going to do something I've never done before.
What did you mean just now when you said this isn't Uncle Elwood's fault? If it's not his fault, then whose fault is it?
Oh, never you mind. I know whose fault it is. Now, pick your head up and smile and go back in there as if nothing has happened.
You're no match for Uncle Elwood.
You'll see.
Mother's waiting for you.
Elwood, could I speak to you for a moment, dear?
Oh, of course, Vita.
Elwood, would you mind staying in here until the party is over? I need to speak with you about something. It's very important.
Oh, why, yes, of course, Vita. I happen to be open to some free time, and you're welcome to all of it. Oh, do you want Harvey to wait too?
Yes, Elwood, I certainly do.
Oh, there you are, Harvey. Speaking with the guests, I see. Come on. Yes, I know it's your favorite seat. Oh, but just sit down, please. Look, Vita wanted to talk to us about something. She said it was very important. I think she wants to talk to us and congratulate us on the impression we've made at her party. All right. Well, while we wait, why don't we read something? Oh, yes, the new Jane Austen. Now, there. Right here. Yes, of course. Yes, Jane Austen. But this is the usual acknowledgments. Limited for something, let's see. Ah, here it is. Chapter 1.
Miss O.R. Simmons at 334 Temple Drive. Is that correct?
We were born and raised there. It's old, but we love it. It's our home.
And you wish to enter your brother here at the sanitarium? Your brother's name?
It's... Oh!
Miss Simmons, your brother's name?
I'm sorry. Life isn't easy for any of us. I'll just have to pick my head up and go on just the same. That's what I keep telling Myrtle, and that's what Myrtle keeps telling me. She's heartbroken about her Uncle Elwood. Elwood P. Dowd, that's it.
Elwood P. Dowd. His age?
47, the 24th of last April. He's Taurus the bull. I'm Leo. And Myrtle's on a cusp.
Is he married?
No, Elwood never married. He stayed at home with Mother. He was always a great homeboy. He loved his home.
And you have him with you now?
He's in a taxi cab down in the driveway. I gave the driver $1 to watch him, but I didn't tell the man why. You can't tell these things to perfect strangers.
Wilson, will you step down to a taxi in the driveway and ask Mr. Dowd if he would step into room 34 South Wing G?
Ask him.
This is his sister, Miss Simmons.
Oh, howdy do. Why, certainly I would be glad to escort him.
Thank you.
And here you are, Miss Simmons. You'll find the rates printed out here on this card.
That will all be taken care of by my mother's estate. The late Marcella Penny Dowd. Judge Gaffney is our attorney.
All right, well, I'll go see if Dr. Sanderson will see you now.
Dr. Sanderson? But I want to speak to Dr. Tully himself.
Oh, Miss Simmons, Dr. Sanderson is the one who sees everyone. Dr. Chumley sees no one.
Well, he's still head of this institution, isn't he? He's still a psychiatrist, isn't he?
Still a psychiatrist. He's a psychiatrist with a national reputation. Whenever people have mental breakdowns, they think at once of Dr. Chumley.
Well, that's his office, isn't it? Well, you march right in there and tell him I want to speak to him. If he knows he's out here, he'll come in.
I don't dare disturb him, Miss Simmons. I'd be discharged if I did.
Well, I don't like to be pushed off onto any second fiddle.
Dr. Sanderson is no one's second fiddle. He's young, of course, and he hasn't been out of medical school long, but Dr. Chumley tried out 12 and kept Sanderson. He really is wonderful. To the patients.
Very well. Tell him I'm here.
Right away.
Oh my!
Isn't this place just wonderful?
Mrs.
Oh dear. You startled me. I didn't hear you come in. You're Dr. Sanderson?
Yes. Will you be seated, please?
Oh, thank you. I hope you don't think I'm jumpy like that all the time.
No, of course not. Miss Kelly tells me you're concerned about your brother. Dowd is the name. Elwood P. Dowd?
Yes, doctor. It's what Elwood's doing to himself. That's the thing. I mean, Myrtle May has a right to nice friends. She's young, of course, and her whole life was ahead of her. That's my daughter.
Your daughter. Tell me, Mrs. Simmons, how long has it been since you began to notice any peculiarity in your brother's actions?
I noticed it right away when Mother died. Myrtle May and I came back home from living in Des Moines. I could see that he...
That he what? Take your time, Mrs. Simmons. It's okay. Just don't strain. Just let it come.
Doctor, everything I say is confidential, isn't it?
That's understood.
Because it's a slap in the face to this community, the way Elwood is acting now.
I assure you, Mrs. Simmons, I'm not a gossip. I'm a psychiatrist.
Well, for one thing, he drinks.
To excess?
To excess? Well, don't you call it excess when a man never lets a day go by without stepping into one of those cheap taverns, sitting around with riffraff and people you never heard of, inviting them to the house, playing cards with them, giving them food and money. Oh, and here I am, trying to get Berkeley started with a nice group of young people. If that isn't excess, I'm sure I don't know what excess is, Doctor.
I didn't doubt your statement, Mrs. Simmons. I merely asked if your brother drank.
Well, I say he definitely does. And I want you committed out here permanently, because I cannot stand another day of that Harvey. Berkeley and I have to set a place at the table for Harvey. When we're on the couch, we have to scoot over and make room for Harvey. When we're on the telephone, we have to pick up and ask to speak to Harvey. And just today, at the party with Mrs. Chauvenet there. Oh, Doctor, we didn't know anything about Harvey, not until Berkeley and I came back home. Tell me, Doctor, don't you think it would have been a little bit kinder for Mother to have written us and told us about Harvey? Be honest now, don't you?
I really couldn't answer that question.
Well, I say it definitely would.
Mrs. Simmons, who is Harvey?
He's a rabbit.
Perhaps, but just who is he? Someone your brother picked up in these bars with who you disapprove of?
Doctor, I've been telling you Harvey is a rabbit. A big white rabbit, 6 feet high. Or is it 6.5? Oh, heaven knows I ought to know. He's been around the house long enough.
Well, let me understand this.
Doctor, do I have to keep repeating myself? My brother insists that his closest friend is this big white rabbit. This rabbit is named Harvey. Harvey lives with us, don't you understand? He and Elwood go every place together. Elwood buys railroad tickets, theater tickets for the both of them. As I told Myrtle May, if your uncle were so lonesome he had to bring something home, why wouldn't he bring home something human? He has me, doesn't he? He has Myrtle May, doesn't he? Doctor, I'm going to tell you something I've never told anyone in the world before. Every once in a while, I see that big white rabbit myself. That wasn't that awful. I've never even told Myrtle May.
Mrs. Simmons.
And what's more, he's every bit as big as Elwood says he is. Now don't you repeat that to anybody, Doctor. I'm ashamed of it.
Yes, Mrs. Simmons. I can see you've been under a lot of nervous strain recently.
Yes, I have.
Has grief over your mother's death depressed you considerably?
Nobody knows how much.
Have you been losing sleep?
Nobody could sleep at a house with that going on.
Short-tempered overtrifles?
You just try living with those two and you see how your temper holds up.
Loss of appetite?
Nobody could eat at a table with my brother and a big white rabbit. Well, I'm finished with it. I'll sell the house, be appointed conservator of Elwood's estate, and Myrtle May and I will be able to entertain our friends in peace. It's just too much, Doctor. I can't stand it.
Yeah, Mrs. Simmons. I can see. You're tired.
Oh, yes, I am.
And Mrs. Simmons, look, don't you worry now. I'm going to help you, okay?
Oh, Doctor.
Just don't move. Just stay right there, okay?
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Right there. I'll be right back.
Thank you. I'll just go to the cab and get Elwood's things.
Why didn't anybody answer the buzzer?
I didn't hear you, Doctor.
I rang and I rang. Oh, Lord, oh no. Mrs. Simmons! Sound the guard and that woman cannot leave the grounds.
She's making with a getaway, huh,
Her
Doc?
condition is serious. Go after her. I shouldn't have left her alone. wasn't.
Wilson was in South, Doctor.
What have we available, Kelly?
Number 13, Upper West Arms available, Doctor.
Yes. Have her sent up there immediately, and I'll prescribe preliminary treatment. I need to speak to her brother. Dowd's the name. Can you get him on the phone for me, Kelly?
But, Doctor, I thought the woman was all right. She said the treatment was for her brother.
Of course she did. It's the oldest dodge in the book, used by a cunning type of psychopath. She knew her brother was going to discredit her, so she came out to discredit him. Kelly, no more games. Get him on the phone.
Doctor, I thought the woman was all right, so I had Wilson take the brother up to number 24. He's there now.
You had Wilson take the brother in? No gags now, Kelly. Be serious.
Oh, I did, Doctor, I did. Oh, Doctor, I'm terribly sorry.
Well, if you're sorry, that just fixes everything. Oh, my.
I'll do it. Oh, Miss Aubrey, will you please unlock the door to number 24 and give Mr. Dowd his clothes and
have him step down here immediately.
ask him to step down to the office right away. There's been a terrible mistake and Dr. Sanderson wants to explain.
Explain? Apologize!
Thank heaven she hadn't put him in the hydro tub yet. She'll let him out.
Beautiful. And done. It's almost too good to be true.
Oh, Doctor, I feel terrible. I didn't know. The judge called and said she'd be out here to turn in her brother, and there is no need to be sarcastic.
Oh, don't I? Just, Kelly, I'll figure something out. We'll score him out of it.
Where are you going?
I'm going to have to tell the chief about this one, Kelly. He'll want to hear it himself.
Oh, no. No, Doctor, you can't. He'll be furious. He'll die, then he'll terminate me.
Kelly, the responsibility is all mine.
No, Doctor, you tell him it was my fault.
I never mentioned your name. Except in my sleep.
But what do I do about this Mr. Dowd fellow? He'll be furious.
Well, he'll be fit to be tied, but he is a man, isn't he?
Well, yes. His name is Mr.
Go into your own routine, you know, the eyes, the swish, the works. I'm immune to it, but I've seen it work on some people. And if you got to, strip tease a little. Alright, you be a good girl now, Kelly.
Oh, you really are wonderful, Doctor. Just the most wonderful person I've ever met.
Yeah, well, how about you help me out here just the same?
What?
That's Simmons' dame.
Did you catch her?
Slick as a whistle. She was on her merry way along our path, whistling a little tune. And I was hiding behind a tree, see? And then, when she least expects it, "Sister, there's a man wants to see you." You should have heard her yell. She's wacky, all right.
Taking it up in West 13R.
She's there now. I brought her into the diet kitchen. If you'll pin her down, I'll come and undress her.
Not now, Wilson. Dr. Sanderson told me to wait here for Mr. Dowd.
Well, make it snappy.
Mr. Dowd?
Oh, Elwood P.
I'm Miss Kelly.
Oh, here, let me give you one of my cards. If you should want to call me at this number, not that number. That's the old one.
Thank you.
Perfectly all right, my dear, and if you happen to lose it, don't worry. I have plenty more.
Won't you have a seat?
Oh, yes, please. I'll take two. Allow me.
Dr. Sanderson is very anxious to talk to you. He'll be right down. Please, have a seat.
After you, my dear.
Oh, you mustn't mind me. I'm on my feet all day, in and out, but please sit down.
After you.
All right. Can I get you a magazine to look at?
I'd much rather look at you, Miss Kelly, if you don't mind. You really are lovely.
Oh, well, thank you. Some people don't seem to notice.
Well, some people are blind. That's often brought to my attention. And now, Miss Kelly, I would love to introduce you to a very dear friend of mine.
Mr. Dowd!
Elwood P. Here, let me give you one of my...
I'm Dr. Lyman Sanderson. I'm Dowd's assistant out here.
Well, good for you. I'm happy to know you. How are you, Doctor?
Well, that's going to depend on you, I'm afraid. I've seen you met Miss Kelly.
I have had that pleasure. And now, Doctor, I would like you to meet...
Later on, I'll be very glad to, but will you be seated first because I'm...
After Miss Kelly.
Sit. Is that chair quite comfortable for you, Mr. Dowd?
Yes, it is. Thank you. Would you care to try it?
No, thank you. Kelly, could you give Mr. Dowd an ashtray, please?
Yes, Doctor.
Is it too warm in here for you, Mr. Dowd? Would you like me to open up a window?
Oh, Mr. Dowd, Dr. Sanderson would like to know if he should open up a window.
Well, that's entirely up to him. I shouldn't presume to live his life for him.
Well, I can see that you're not the type of man to be taken by any high-flown phrases or beating around the bush.
Is that so, Doctor?
You have us at a disadvantage. I know it, and you know it. Let's just lay our cards out on the table.
That certainly appeals to me, Doctor.
That's the best way in the long run. People are people, no matter where you go, and, well, being people, they are therefore liable to making mistakes. And Miss Kelly and I have made a mistake this afternoon, and we'd love to get a chance to explain to you.
That's very interesting, nevertheless. This afternoon, you say? You and Miss Kelly here.
Yes, but it wasn't...
A human failing, as I said.
Well, these things are often the start of a long and warm friendship.
Now, if I had seen your sister first, it would have been a completely different story.
Well, there you surprised me, Doctor. I think the world in all of Vita, but I suppose she had seen her day.
I mean, you can't blame her now, Mr. Dowd. She's insane. I mean, she came in here insisting that you were in need of psychiatric treatment. It's just perfectly ridiculous.
Well, I agree. That is ridiculous. I get along just fine.
Exactly, but there had already been a call from your family's lawyer, Judge Gaffney, and she had already spoken to Miss Kelly.
I know Judge Gaffney. Know his wife, too. Nice people.
Is there something I can get for you, Mr. Dowd? Oh, a light? Here, let me get you a light.
Oh, thank you.
You forget which pocket I put my match in. Oh, here we go.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Your sister was extremely nervous, and she went into this extremely nervous tirade about your drinking.
Well, that's completely ridiculous. I'll talk to her about it.
She became hysterical, Mr. Dowd.
Well, that's certainly a problem. I'm sure I will take care of it once I get home.
And I suppose you take a drink every now and then, same as the rest of us?
Well, why, of course I do. As a matter of fact, I would like one right now.
Well, as a matter of fact, I would like one too, Mr. Dowd, but your sister's reactions to the whole matter of drinking was just entirely too intense. But let me ask you, Mr. Dowd, does your sister drink?
No. I don't think she's taken a drink in her life.
Well, I'm going to surprise you, Mr. Dowd. I think she has. And does. Constantly.
Well, you certainly surprised me there, Doctor.
But it's not her alcoholism that's going to be the case for my diagnosis, no. It's something much deeper. When she began talking so emotionally about this big white rabbit, Harvey, she called him Harvey.
Well, Harvey is his name.
And she claimed that you were persecuting her with this Harvey.
Well, Vita shouldn't feel that I'm persecuting her with Harvey. Now, before we go any further, Doctor, I must insist that you listen.
Mr. Dowd, let me make my point first. Your sister's condition is serious. I believe it stems from trauma.
What?
Trauma, spelled Trauma. It's nothing unusual. There are different types of trauma, such as the birth trauma, the shock to being born.
That's the one we never get over.
Mr. Dad, I like your sense of humor. He's got a nice one, doesn't he, Miss Kelly?
Yes, Doctor, I think he does.
Oh, may I say the same about the both of you?
Well, to sum it all up, your sister's condition is serious, but I believe that I can help her. However, she must stay here temporarily at the sanitarium.
Well, I've always wanted Vita to have everything she wants.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't want her to stay out here unless if she was willing to and wanted to.
Yes, of course, of course. Miss Kelly, did Wilson get what he was looking for?
Yes, Doctor.
And what was Mrs. Simmons' attitude?
Not unusual.
You see, Mr. Dad, if this were something ordinary, something which stems from the memory picture, it would be completely different, but I think it stands to reason. Nobody has seen a rabbit quite that large.
Not very often, Doctor.
I like you, Dad.
I like you too, Doctor. And Miss Kelly here. I like her too.
So, your sister must be committed here temporarily. Under these circumstances, I would commit my own grandmother.
Oh, well, does your grandmother drink too?
It's just an expression. Here, can I have you sign these commitment papers? It's just a formality next of kin.
Oh, no. You better let Vita do that, Doctor. She does all of the signing and managing in our family. She's good at it too.
We'd best not disturb her right now.
Perhaps I can talk it over with Judge Gaffney.
You know what? That sounds good. As a matter of fact, tell him I advise it. And it's not like you couldn't drop by here any day. Here, I'll write you a full visitor's pass.
Why, thank you, Doctor.
What day would you like to come back? Wednesday, say? Friday, say?
Oh, well, I was going to leave to get about dinner, and I'd be back in about an hour or so.
Okay. We're usually pretty busy around here, but I guess we can make that work.
Well, I'm not very hungry. I don't have to leave right now.
Yeah, we're delighted to have you stay, but Miss Kelly and I must be getting upstairs now. But here, I tell you what you might like to do.
Well, what might I like to do, Doctor?
You see that hallway down there?
Mm-hmm.
Go to the left, and then if you go straight and take another right, you'll see our dining kitchen. Then if you go straight again and then make another left and another left, you will see the observation. Just take a look around the facility and see if it's what you want for your sister.
Well, for Vita's sake, I better do that, Doctor.
Very well. Mr. Dad, it's been nice to have this little chat with you.
Oh, well, thank you, Doctor. May I say you are a wonderful psychiatrist.
And I must say, for a layman, you show an unusually acute perception of psychiatric problems.
Is that so, Doctor?
Well, the good psychiatrist has been found in an old bush.
Well, you have picked the right bush. I say, whenever I like to enjoy myself with people, I like to stick right on with them. And I have certainly enjoyed my time with you and Miss Kelly. Say, wouldn't the both of you like to come down with me to Charlie's place for a drink?
Sorry, Miss Kelly and I are on duty right now, but if you give us a rain check, we'll be glad to.
Oh, what?
Can't say right now. I would say me and Miss Kelly don't get off till 10 o'clock.
I'll come back here in a cab at 10 o'clock.
Dr. Chumley doesn't approve of members of the staff fraternizing, but because you've been so understanding, I suppose we can manage it.
Oh, well, thank you, Doctor. What about you, Miss Kelly?
Doctor?
As I said, we can manage it.
Oh, perfect. I'll come back here in a cab at about 10 o'clock or so. I'll be parked in the driveway. The four of us will spend a wonderful evening together. And I would like the both of you to meet a very dear friend of mine. Well, I'd best be on my way, Doctor. Goodbye.
See you. Woo! Man, that was a close shave, Kelly. That man is proud. What he has to be proud of, I have no clue, but, I played up to that pride. You can get anybody to do anything you want if you do.
Doctor, you say you can get anyone to do what you want? How can you do that?
Oh, it takes years of study, years of specialized training, but there's only one thing I don't like about this Dow business.
Oh? Well, what's that, Doctor?
Having to go on that date with him. Now, of course, the man has left here a good friend and booster of the sanitarium, so I suppose I'll go, but you don't have to.
Oh?
No reason to. I mean, I'll go with them, I'll pat him on the back and have a drink. I got a date tonight anyway.
Oh, well, by all means, I didn't intend on going anyways. The whole idea bored me stiff. I wouldn't want to go if it was the last thing I ever did on earth. I wouldn't want to go if my life depended on it.
Kelly, what are you getting so emotional for?
He may be a peculiar man and wear cute, funny clothing, but his manners were perfect.
Yeah, I saw you giving him that doll push stare. I didn't miss that.
Well, he knows how to treat a lady. He wouldn't sit down till I sat down. He called me lovely. He called me dear. Well, I'd go have a drink with him if you weren't going.
Of course you would. And look at him. All he does is drink. He doesn't work. And all this corny standing up every time you sat down. He's as old-fashioned as a cast iron deer. But, oh, you let him go and flatter you because you're such a wonderful girl, Kelly.
Oh, now let me tell you something.
Dr. Sanderson, Miss Kelly.
Dr. Chumley.
Tell the gardener to be more careful when cleaning around my prize dahlias along the fence by the main road. The difficulty of the woman with the big white rabbit, has it been smoothed over?
Yes, doctor. I spoke to her brother this afternoon, and he seemed quite reasonable.
I've had many patients who have seen animals, but never once have I heard of a patient seeing an animal quite that large.
Yet, doctor, I believe she called him Harvey.
Harvey. That's an unusual name for an animal of any kind. Harvey's a man's name. I've known several men in my day who go by the name Harvey, but never once have I heard of an animal of any kind go by that name. This case is an interesting phase, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
I will now go upstairs with you and look in on this woman. See if we can make use of my patent 977 formula. I'll, of course, help you in prescribing the treatment.
Oh, thank you, doctor.
And now, may I ask, what is this hat and coat? Whose is it?
I don't know. Miss Kelly, did it belong to Dad?
No, he had his hat and coat with him when he left.
Give me the hat. There must be some kind of identification here. Oh. There seems to be 2 holes cut in the crown of the hat.
How odd.
Must be some new fad. Hang it up, put it away, just get it out of here.
Yes, doctor.
Hello, Dr. Chumley.
Oh, there you are.
How is every local thing?
Fair, Wilson, thank you, fair.
Look, somebody's gonna have to help me with that Simmons woman. She's terrible. Forgot me, didn't you? Well, that's all right. I got her corset off all by myself.
We're going upstairs to look in on the woman now, Wilson.
I left her in Ivy's. God damn it, I left the water on her.
Billy! Oh, Billy! Remember your promise. Oh, hello, Dr. Sanderson. Willie, you haven't forgotten about Dr. McClure's cocktail party, have you? We promised them faithfully.
Yes, of course, I have to go upstairs and I'll look in on a patient now. I'll be down shortly.
Well, give a little quick diagnosis, Willie. We can't be late to the party. I'm dying to see the inside of that house. Oh, good evening.
Oh, well, good evening. I'm Elwood Dow.
I'm Mrs. Chumley, Dr. Chumley's wife.
Well, here, let me give you one of my cards. If you should happen to want to call me at this number. Not that number. That's the old one.
Oh, well, thank you. Is there something I can do for you?
What did you have in mind?
Well, you seem to be looking for someone?
Oh, yes, I'm looking for Harvey.
Harvey? Is he a patient here?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Well, does he work here?
Oh, no, Harvey is what you could call my very best friend. He's also a hookah. He came out here with me in theater this afternoon.
Well, where was he when you last saw him?
Well, he was sitting in this chair right here, with his coat hung up on the back of it, and his hat on the table.
Well, there doesn't seem to be a hat or coat around here anywhere. Perhaps he left.
I suppose he did.
What was that word you said earlier? A hookah.
Oh, yes, that's it.
Is that something new?
Oh, no. As I understand it, it is something very old.
Oh, really? Well, I never happened to hear anything like it before.
Oh, I'm not surprised by that. I hadn't heard it until I met him, too. Although, I do hope you get an opportunity to meet him. You two would get along just fine.
Oh, really? Well, that's quite nice of you to say, I'm sure.
No, not at all. See, when Harvey tends to have a liking towards someone, he expresses it quite passionately. He's not particularly interested. He just sits there, like an empty chair, or an empty spot on the floor. He takes his time making up his mind about people, choosing, you see.
Well, that's not a bad way to be this day and age.
But he is fond of my sister Vida. That's because he is fond of me. And me and Vida live in the same family, and we grew up in the same house together. Now, you would think the feeling there would be mutual, but I don't think Vida cares for Harvey. Don't you think that's rather too bad, Mrs. Chumley?
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Dowd. I gave up a long time ago expecting my family to like my friends. It's useless.
But we must keep on trying, Mrs. Chumley.
Well, there's no harm in trying, I suppose.
Well, if there's one thing Harvey has said to me that he has said 1,000,000 times, it's this. Mr. Dowd, I would do anything for you. Mrs. Chumley.
Yes?
Did you know that Mrs. McGinley's Aunt Rose is coming in tonight from Cleveland unexpectedly?
Why, no, I didn't.
Well, that puts you both in the same boat, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know anyone named Mrs.
Oh, McGinley? Oh, she lives next door to us. She's a wonderful woman. Harvey told me about her Aunt Rose. That is an interesting little news item. You are free to pass it around.
Well,
Oh, Mrs. Chumley, would you be able to go downtown with me and get a drink? I would love to buy you one.
Oh, why, thank you, but I really couldn't. I'm waiting here for Dr. Chumley, and if he came down, he'd be liable to raise. He'd be irritated.
Well, we wouldn't let that, would we?
Well, no, but I'll tell you what I'll do, however.
What will you do, however? I'm very interested.
If your friend happens to come by while I'm still here, I'd be more than happy to give him a message for you.
Oh, would you do that? I'd certainly appreciate it.
Oh, it's no trouble at all.
Thank you.
I'll write it down on the back of this card. What would you like me to tell your friend?
Oh, tell him to meet me downtown.
Meet Mr. Dowd downtown. Any particular place downtown?
Oh, no. He knows where. He knows this town like a book.
Harvey, you know where. Harvey, what?
Just Harvey.
Well, I'll tell you what.
What?
Dr. Chumley and I are going downtown to 12th and Montague for a cocktail party at Dr. McClure's house.
A cocktail party at 12th and Montague?
Yes, and we're going downtown there in a few minutes, and if you'd like, we'd be more than willing to give your friend a lift into town.
Well, I wouldn't want to impose on your plans, but if you do that, I'd certainly appreciate it.
Oh, it's no trouble at all. Dr. McClure is having this party for his sister from Wichita.
Dr. McClure has a sister who lives in Wichita?
You know Dr. McClure?
No.
What?
Oh, are you quite sure that you can't come into town with me? I would just love to buy you a drink.
I really couldn't, but thank you just the same.
Some other time, maybe.
Thank you.
Oh, well, you can't miss Harvey if you see him. He's very tall. Like this.
That Simmons woman continues to be uncooperative. She refuses to admit to me that she has this big white rabbit and insists it's her brother. Kelly, notepad.
Yes, doctor.
Give her 2 of these at 9 and another at 10. And if she continues to be so restless, a dip in the hydro tub tomorrow at 7. And another at 8, why not? We'll see if she continues to be so uncooperative then, won't we, Doctor?
Yes, doctor.
You know where to call me if you need me, are you? Are you ready, pet?
Yes, Willie, and oh, Willie!
Yes.
There was a man who came by earlier. His name was Dow. Elwood P. Dow.
Oh, doctor, that's Mrs. Simmons' brother. I gave him full visiting privileges and told him to look around.
No, she mustn't see anyone tonight, not anyone at all. You must inform him of that.
Well, he didn't come here to see her. He came here to see some friend of his.
And who might that be, Dr. Sanderson?
I don't know, doctor.
Well, he said it was someone he came out here with this afternoon.
Miss Kelly, did Dowd enter in with anybody?
No, he came in all by himself.
Well, he said there was, and he said he was sitting right there with a hat and a coat, and he seemed quite disappointed. I also told him that if his friend came by while I was still here, I'd be more than willing to give him a lift into town. He could sit in the back seat. Would that be all right, Willie?
Of course.
Oh, here it is. His friend's name was Harvey. Harvey? Yes, Harvey. And he didn't say anything about a last name. But he did mention something about a puka, although I'm not quite sure what that means.
Harvey!
Yes, Harvey. And he said he was very tall. Willie, why are you looking at me like that? He was a nice man and merely asked us to give his friend a lift into town, and if we can't do a favor for someone, then why are we living?
Mrs. Chumley, did he leave? Is he still here?
Well, I don't know where he went just a second ago.
Kelly, get me that hat, by George, we'll have this figured out!
Yes, Mayday. Henry, this is Dr. Sanderson.
Oh, Judge Gaffney.
Oh, yes. Henry, was there a man in a dark suit who left the grounds? There was. 5 minutes ago. Oh, okay.
Judge Gaffney, this is Dr. William Chunley, the psychiatrist. Judge, I'm calling to make a routine checkup on the spelling of a name before entering it into our records. Judge, you had a client committed this afternoon. How was the name of that client spelled? With a W and not a U. Elwood P. Down. Thank you, Judge. Dr. Sanderson, I believe that is your name, Dr. Sanderson.
Yes, doctor.
Oh, you know that much, do you? You went to medical school, you specialized in psychiatry, you studied, graduated, and went forth. But did they neglect to tell you in medical school that a rabbit has 2 large
particularly reasonable this afternoon.
Reasonable. Doctor, the very job of a psychiatrist is to discern the difference between those who are reasonable and those who merely walk, talk, act reasonable. Do you have any idea as to what you've done? Oh no, don't answer. I'll tell you. You have permitted a psychopathic case to wander these grounds freely, and you've subjected me, a psychiatrist, to the humiliation to have to call of all things a lawyer to ask who came out here to be committed and who was to be doing the committing.
Dr. Chumley.
Listen! You do not move a step. I want you there. I will now have to go do something I haven't done in 15 years.
No.
I will now go out after this man, Elwood P. Dowd, and bring him back to my facility. And when I bring him back, your association with this institution is over. As of that exact moment. Wilson, get the car. Pet, call the McClures. Tell them we won't be making it to dinner. And for God's sake, Miss Kelly, help me get that woman out of the hydrocone.
Yes, doctor!
I'll have to tell the cook we'll be home for dinner. She'll be frustrated. Oh, Wilson!
Yes, ma'am?
What is a puka?
A what?
A puka.
You can search me, Mrs. Chumley.
Wonder, could it be the encyclopedia here? They have everything in here. I wonder, is it a lodge or what is it? Oh, I better not do this now. Dr. Chumley came by while I was still here. He'd be irritated. He'd rage. Oh dear!
P-O-O-K-A. Puka. From old Celtic mythology, a fairy spirit in animal form, always very large, appears here and there, now and then, to this one and that one at its own caprice. A wise but mischievous creature, very fond of rum pots, crackpots, and how are you, Mr. Wilson? How are you, Mr. Wilson? What do the encyclopedia wants to know? Oh, to hell with it.
Well, when Mother left the house with Uncle Elwood, I went out to the real estate office to put the house on the market. And what do you think I found there?
I'm not a quiz kid.
Well, I found a man there who was looking for an old house just like this one, to cut up into buffet apartments. He's going through it now.
Now see here, Myrtle May, this house doesn't belong to you. It belongs to your Uncle Elwood.
Yes, but now that Uncle Elwood is locked up, Mother controls the property, doesn't she?
Well, where is your mother? Where is Vita Louise?
Judge, she went out to Chumley's Rest to tell them about Harvey and put Uncle Elwood in.
Then why was I called at the club in the middle of a game and she screamed at me to meet her here about something important?
I don't know. I simply don't know. Have you got the deed to the house?
Well, certainly it's in my safe. But you know, I feel pretty bad about this thing of locking Elwood up.
Mother and I will be able to take a long trip now, out to Pasadena.
He could have done anything, been anything, made a place for himself in this community.
And all he did was get a big white rabbit.
He had brains, personality, friends. Men liked him. Women liked him. I liked him.
Are you telling me that once Uncle Elwood was like other men, that women actually liked him? I mean, in that way.
Oh, not since he started running around with that big rabbit. But they did once. Once your grandmother's mailbox was filled with those blue scented envelopes, just for Elwood.
I can't believe it.
Yes. He was always so calm about any sudden change in plan. I used to admire it. Oh, I should have been suspicious. Take your average man looking up and seeing a big white rabbit. He would have done something about that. But not Elwood. He took that home too. And look where it got him.
You don't dream how far overboard he's gone on this rabbit.
Oh, yes, I do. He's had that rabbit in my office, and many's the time. Although I'm old, I don't miss much. What's that noise?
The prospective buyer on the 3rd floor. Mother! Look, Judge!
Vita Louise, what's wrong with her?
Oh, I never thought I'd see either of you again.
Take hold of her, Judge! She looks like she's going to faint! Now, Mother, you're all right. You're going to be perfectly all right.
Steady. Steady, girl, steady.
Not so fast.
Don't watch her, Myrtle. Ease her in.
Let me sit down. Only get me to a place where I can sit down.
Easy, Myrtle. Easy.
Oh! The gas bill.
Oh my.
Vita, we should get you some tea. Myrtle, go get her some tea.
I'll get you some tea, Mother. Get your coat off, Judge.
Oh, let Myrtle get your coat off. Myrtle, get her coat
Leave
off.
me alone. Let me sit here. Let me get my breath.
Let her get her breath, Judge.
Let me sit here a minute and then let me go upstairs to my own room where I can let go.
But Mother, what's happened to you?
Omar, I want you to sue them. They put me in and Elwood out.
What's this?
Mother, just look at my hair.
But why? What did you do? What did you say? You must have done something.
I didn't do one thing. I simply told them about Elwood and Harvey.
Then how did this happen? I don't understand it.
I told them about Elwood and then I went to the cab to get his things. As I was walking along the path, this awful man stepped out. He was wearing a leather jacket.
A man? What did he do, Mother?
What did he do? He took hold of me and he took me upstairs and he...
Go on, Vita Louise. Go on, girl.
Poor Mother. Was he a young man?
Myrtle, perhaps you should leave the room.
Now? I should say not. Go on, Mother.
And he tore my clothes off.
Oh, did you hear that, Judge?
Oh, by God, sue them for this.
And he sat me down in a tub of water.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I always thought that what you wear showed on your face. Well, don't you believe it, Judge? Don't you believe it, Myrtle? This man took hold of me like I was a woman of the streets. But I fought. I always said that if a man jumped at me, I'd fight. Haven't I always said that, Myrtle?
She's always said that, Judge. That's what Mother always told me to do.
This man hustled me into that sanitarium and treated me like I was a what? A crazy woman. But he did that just for spite.
Well, I'll be damned.
that filthy stuff. That place ought to be cleaned up, Omar. You ought to clean it up with the authorities.
Oh, this stinks of high heaven. My God, it stinks!
Omar, you've got to do something about it. You've got to sue them.
I will go. By God, I will. If Chumley thinks he can run an unsavory place like that on the outskirts of town, I'll have him publicly chastised by God. Heck, I'll run him out of state.
Judge, tell me, is that all those doctors do at places like that? Think about sex.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, if it is, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. It's all in their head anyways. Why don't they try going on a nice long walk out in the sunshine? Judge Gaffney used to walk everywhere for years, didn't you, Judge?
Now, let me take some notes on this. So, these two doctors who came up to you, Dr. Chumley and what was the other one's name?
Sanderson. But don't you believe a word he says, Judge. He's a liar. And besides, I told him something of the utmost confidence, and he blabbed it.
What did you tell him, Mother?
Well, what does it matter? Let's forget about it. I don't want to talk about it. You can't trust anybody these days.
Vita, whatever you told these doctors, you can tell us. Myrtle is your daughter, and I am your lawyer.
I know which is which. I don't want to talk about it. I want to sue them, and I want to get in my own bed.
But Mother, this is the important thing anyway. Where's Uncle Elwood?
I should have known better than to do anything about him. Something protects him. That awful Puka!
Mother, answer me. Where's Uncle Elwood?
How should I know? They're not interested in men at places like that. Don't be so naive, Myrtle May. What's that noise?
I found a buyer for the house.
What?
But listen, Mother. We've got to find Uncle Elwood. No matter who jumped at you, we've still got to lock up Uncle Elwood.
Well, I don't know where he is. The next time you take him, Judge, just wait until Elwood hears what they did to me. He won't stand for it. Myrtle, all I hope is that never for as long as you live, a man tears the clothes off of you and dumps you in a tub of water.
Oh, now see, Mother muffed everything. No matter what's happened up there, Uncle Elwood is still wandering around with Harvey.
The thing I need to do is to take some more notes.
It's all Uncle Elwood's fault. He found out what she was up to, and he had her put in. Then he ran.
Oh no, don't talk like that about your uncle. Elwood thinks the world of your mother and would do anything just to give it straight to her.
Well, I won't give up. We'll get detectives. We'll find him. And besides, you'd better save some of that sympathy for me and Mother. You don't know what we've had to put up with. Just wait till I show you something he brought home about 6 months ago, and we hid it out in the garage. Just you wait, Judge.
Oh, I need to talk to Vita. There's more than this than she's telling. I'll wait. Well, he won't.
All right, is he here?
What's this?
That crackpot with the rabbit? He here?
No, and who may I ask are you?
He's not here, Dr. Chumley. All right. Dr. Chumley's coming in anyway. What's your name?
Well, Chumley. Well, I've got something to say to him.
What's your name? Let's have it.
Judge Gaffney.
He says his name is Judge Gaffney, Doctor.
Well, Chumley.
Let's not waste any time, Judge. Has he been here?
Who would know, but see here, Doctor.
Sure he ain't been here? He's wise now. Hide him. It'll be a job to smoke him out, right, Dr. Chumley?
It'll be more difficult, yes. They're sly, they're cunning, but I get them. I always get them. Do you have the list of places we've been, Wilson?
Sure do, Doctor.
Well, read it.
We've been to 17 bars, Eddie's Place, Charlie's Place, Bessie's Barn Dance, the 4th Avenue Firehouse, the 12th Avenue Firehouse,
and the 11th, 10th, and 9th Avenue firehouses, just to make sure. Union Station, an old grain elevator. Say, why does this guy go down to a grain elevator?
The foreman is a friend of his. He has many friends, many places.
Judge, the reason we've stopped by this evening is to ask Miss Simmons if she has any idea as to where he might be.
Well, Mrs. Simmons has retained me to file a suit against...
Oh, what?
For what happened to her at the sanitarium this afternoon.
Suit!
And while we're on that subject...
That's pretty, ain't it, Doctor? After us dragging your tail all over town trying to find that guy.
Judge, what happened this afternoon was an unfortunate mistake. I've already discharged the assistant who made it, and I'm willing to take on this woman's case personally. It interests me. And my interest in a case is something no amount of money can buy. You can ask any of them that. And this business this afternoon, water under the dam. Here's how I see it. The important item is to bring this man back to my sanitarium where he belongs.
That's right, Judge. That's just what I think.
May I introduce Miss Myrtle May Simmons, niece of Mr. Dowd and daughter of Mrs. Simmons.
How do you do, Dr. Chumley?
Hi, Myrtle.
What? Oh, hello.
How do you do, Miss Simmons, I guess? Now, I must insist, Judge, you let me speak to Miss Simmons.
Mother won't come down, Doctor. I know she won't. You try to get her to talk to him, Judge.
Oh, but you see here, your mother was manhandled. She was, oh, by God knows what she was. The man's approach to her was not professional. It was personal.
Wilson, this is a serious charge.
Dr. Chumley, I've been with you for 10 years now. Are you going to take my word or the word of... Sorry, what's your name again?
Judge Gaffney. Judge Omar Gaffney.
Thank you. This old blister Gaffney?
Wait, we talked about this.
Me and a dame who sees a rabbit.
It's not her who sees the rabbit, it's her brother.
Yes, it's Uncle Outwood.
Now, if you'll come with me, Doctor, we've got some business to attend to.
Very well, Wilson, I have more important matters to attend to. You will wait for me here.
You got it, Doctor. So, your name's Myrtle May.
What? Oh, yes.
Say, when we catch your uncle, you're liable to be coming down to the sanitarium on business nights.
Oh, I don't really know.
Well, if you do, I'll be there.
You will? Oh.
And if I don't show up right away, don't lose hope. Stick around, I'll show up.
You will? Oh.
Hey, did you hear how Dr. Chumley told me to wait?
Yeah?
Well, while I'm waiting, I could go for some sandwiches.
Certainly, if you'll just forgive me, I'll precede you into the kitchen.
Yes, sir, you're all right, Myrtle.
What?
Dr. Chumley noticed it right away. That man doesn't miss a trick. And tell you something else.
What?
You not only got a nice build, but kid, you got something else too.
What?
You got the screwiest uncle that ever stuck his puss inside our nut house.
Hello, Chumley's Rest. Oh, this is Elwood P. Dowd speaking. Oh, Dr. Chumley, Oh, it's Mrs. Chumley. Oh, Mrs. Chumley, were you able to find... No, it's all right. We'll find him soon. I'm sorry I didn't see you at the McClure cocktail party. I spent a good deal of my time there recently, and I was able to leave quite a few of my cupboards. The people there were wonderful. Oh, well, I had waited to call because you said a patient had escaped the building. Something like that. Oh, where am I now? I'm here, but I must be leaving right away. I have to find Harvey. Well, my regards to you and anyone else you run into tonight, Mrs. Chumley. Goodbye. Who got this old thing out? Shiny. Darn thing. Work with me, please. First I use him and now the painting. Oh, goodness. Please.
Doctor, you may as well go home and wait. I'm suing you for $50,000, and that's fine.
Miss Simmons!
Yes? Well, all right.
This portrait!
That portrait happens to be the pride of this family's house.
Who painted it?
I don't know. Some man. We paid him for the sittings, and he left. Hello? No, this is Dexter 1567.
Well, I suppose if you have the money to pay people, you can persuade them to do anything.
Doctor, when you pulled me out of that hydro tub, do you remember what I said to you?
You expressed yourself. I don't quite remember the words.
I said, Dr. Chumley, this is a belated civility. Isn't that what I said?
You said something of the sort.
You brought it up, you might as well learn something from it. The difference between a fine oil painting and something mechanical, like a photograph, is simply this. A photograph will only show you the reality of something. A painting will not only show you the reality, but the dream behind it. It's the dreams that keep us going. That's what separates us from the beasts. I wouldn't want to leave if I thought life was only getting up, eating, sleeping, taking my clothes off, and putting them on again.
I'm glad to hear it.
Oh, doctor, he's been here. Elwood's been here.
Better be quiet, huh? I'll take it, don't worry. Hello? Yes? Yes, this is the residence. Oh, it's for you, Miss Simmons. It's your brother.
Oh, let me speak to him.
Don't tell him I'm here. Be casual.
Hello, Elwood, where are you? Where? Just a minute. He won't tell me where he is. He keeps asking if Harvey's here.
Tell him Harvey is here.
But he isn't.
Tell him Harvey's here. That might bring him here. Perhaps humor him. You've got to humor him.
Hello, Elwood. Harvey is here. Why don't you come home? All right. It won't work. He keeps asking to put Harvey on the telephone.
Tell him Harvey is here. He just can't come to the telephone. Tell him he's in the bathtub.
The bathtub.
The bathtub. And that you'll send him over. That way we might find out where he is.
Doctor!
Now you've got to do it, Miss Simmons.
Hello, Elwood. Harvey is here. He just can't come to the telephone right now. He's in the bathtub. Where are you, Elwood? Where? Harvey just walked through the door. He said to check the bathtub. There may be a stranger in there.
So he hung up.
Yes, but I know where he is. He's at Charlie's place. That's a bar on 12th and Main.
12th and Main, that's 1 block down and 2 over.
Where are you going, Doctor?
I'm going to get your brother and bring him back to my sanitarium where he belongs.
Oh no, Doctor, don't you do it. I'm warning you.
But Miss Simmons, if I am to help your
There
brother...
is no help for him. He can't be helped. He just has to be picked up, locked up, and left.
Miss Simmons, do you believe your brother to be a dangerous man?
Dangerous.
Why?
Well, I won't tell you why. But if I didn't, why would I ask for a permanent commitment for him?
Miss Simmons, if I am to help your brother, I must see his face as he talks to this rabbit. He does talk to the rabbit, you say?
He tells him everything.
What's that?
I said, of course he talks to the rabbit. But don't you go after him, Doctor. You'll regret it if you do.
I find you underestimate me, Miss Simmons.
Well, I find you underestimate my brother.
I'm sure I can handle your brother just fine, thank you very much.
Handle him. And that's what you think. Oh, Myrtle, see who's in the bathtub. Oh! Oh.
Thank you. I may call later.
The box is in your room, Doctor. Upstairs.
All packed. Wilson, thanks.
It's tough. You're getting bounced. I gotta admit, I have you pegged for one to make the grade.
Well, those were the breaks.
When you taking off?
As soon as Dr. Chumley gets back.
Oh, Kelly. Did you get a report back from that desk sergeant at the police accident bureau yet?
No, I just got off the phone with them. They haven't seen him anywhere.
Well, it's beginning to smell awful funny to me. It's been 4 hours since we've heard from him, and not a word since. Well, I may not see you again, Doctor, so I wish you a lot of luck, and I'm mighty sorry you got a kick in the end, Ray.
Thank you, Wilson. You as well.
Kelly, let me know when you get that report. Because if we don't get any word from him, I'm going into town myself. The doctor knows better than to go after a nutcase without me.
I would like to help look for the doctor too, Wilson.
That's swell of you, Doctor. Right after he gives you the brush.
I've no resentment against Dr. Chumley. He was right, and I was wrong. It's my disadvantage not to be able to work with him. He's the biggest man in his field.
Well, you're not so small yourself, Doctor.
I know, Wilson.
Dr. Sanderson?
Yeah?
Well, I'd just like to say that I'm sorry to see you go, and I wish you a lot of luck, too.
You sure you can spare me these good wishes, Kelly?
I guess not. Never mind, forget about it.
Oh, Kelly, this is for nothing, just a little advice. If I were you, I would be just a little bit more careful around who I spend my time with.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you don't have to. I told you it was for free. You see, I saw you Saturday night dancing with that drip in the Rose Room at the Frontier Hotel.
Funny, I didn't notice you.
I'd be a little wary of him, Kelly. You seem to me like a schizophrenic all the way from across the floor.
Oh, well, Doctor, you really shouldn't have been noticing him so closely. After all, he was my date, not yours.
And that was just for his mentality. I mean, the rest of him, woo!
She was pretty.
Who?
That girl you were dancing with.
I thought you didn't notice.
When you bumped into us twice, how could I not?
Well, not that it matters to you, but that girl, she's a good girl. She has a sweet kind of disposition, and she knows how to handle herself.
Too bad she couldn't conduct herself a better date on Saturday night.
And she has an excellent mind.
Why doesn't she use it?
Well, I don't suppose you're to be known for the flippant art shell that you have. You're probably compensating for something.
I am not, doctor, and don't use your psychiatry on me.
Oh, Kelly, if I could try something else on you just once, just to see if you melt under any circumstances, but I doubt it.
Well, you'll never know, doctor.
Because you interest me as a case history. I want to know where you get that inflated ego from.
Well, aren't you the meanest case history inflated ego?
Oh, don't run away. Let's finish it.
Oh, leave me alone.
Gladly.
Yes. No, Sergeant, no sign of them yet. Look, if we don't hear back from them, I think we're going to have to... Never mind, they're here. Mr. Dowd.
Oh, Miss Kelly, these are for you.
Thank you.
They're quite fresh, too. I just picked them up outside.
I hope Dr. Chumley doesn't notice. They're his prized audience.
Not knowing I cannot state. Those colors look lovely against your hair.
Oh, I've never worn burnt orange. It's such a trying color.
Oh, you would improve any color, my dear.
Did Dr. Chumley go over to his house?
I don't know. Oh, where's Dr. Sanderson?
Oh, he's in his office.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Dowd.
Oh, Dr. Sanderson, I have a cab outside.
Where is Dr. Chumley?
Is he coming with us? That's nice.
No. Doctor?
I must apologize for being a few seconds late. I thought Miss Kelly here should have some flowers. But after everything that's happened here, the flowers really should be coming from you. You'll notice as pretty women pass you by, that you will think of deep and generous gratitude of these gorgeous women in your youth. Now, let's all go down to Charlie's place and have ourselves a drink.
Hang on a minute. Things have changed since I spoke to you this afternoon. Now, you must hold no resentment against Dr. Chung. He's your friend, and he wants to help you.
That's nice of him. I need to help him, too.
Well, Dowd, having a cooperative attitude is the first step towards making any sort of progress. We all gotta face reality sooner or later, Dowd.
Doctor, I've wrestled with reality for 40 years, and I'm happy to say that I finally won over it. Now, will you join me and Miss Kelly down at Charlie's place?
There you are. Come on, buddy. We're going upstairs.
But there must be some mistake. Dr. Sanderson, Miss Kelly, and I are going down to Charlie's place for a drink. We would love for you to join us, Mr.
Wilson.
Wilson, yes.
Is the doctor okay?
I haven't seen him.
I kind of saw him, but he didn't tell me where he was going.
You mean the doctor ain't showed up yet?
No.
Well, where is he?
That's what we're trying to find out, Wilson.
Well, I had seen him. He was at Charlie's place. Yes, he was at Charlie's place. He came in around dinner time. It's a cozy spot. Now, let us go down there and talk it over a tall one.
We're going no such place. All right, you. I'm asking you a question. And you better button up your lip and give it to me straight, or I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Well, what you suggest is impossible. Say what? Well, you suggest that I button my lip and give you some straight answers. Cannot be done.
Wilson, just let me handle this.
Handle it then. But make sure he tells you where the doctor is.
So you did see Dr. Chumley?
Oh, yes. The proprietor had asked for me. Naturally, he brought Dr. Chumley over to me. He sat down and we exchanged the conventional greeting. I said, "How how do you do, Dr. Chumley? And he had said, how do you do, Mr. Dowd? We said that at least once.
Okay.
I'm trying to be factual. I then introduced him to Harvey, who?
A big white rabbit, 6 feet high.
6 feet and 1/2.
Yeah, all right. Fool around with that. And the doctor's probably bleeding to death somewhere in a ditch.
As I said, those were his plans for the evening. He didn't tell me.
Just go on, Dowd.
Oh, well, I had introduced him to Harvey. I had sat down in the booth on the outside, like this. And Harvey was sitting in the booth right next to me, close to the wall. And Dr. Chumley was sat directly across from Harvey. Harvey could look at him.
Yeah, all right. Spend all night on the seating arrangements, why don't you?
Well, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to keep this.
Dowd, just take your time. It's okay. He won't hurt you.
Thank you for the reassurance, Doctor. Well, Harvey and Dr. Chumley, they got to. Harvey wanted to buy Dr. Chumley a drink, and he suggested that we join him. Knowing that he doesn't like to drink alone, I suggested to the doctor that we join him.
And then?
Well, we joined him.
And then what?
We kept right on joining him.
Skip all the joining.
You're skipping a very large portion of the evening.
Tell us what happened, please.
Well, Harvey and Dr. Chumley got to a conversation, quiet at first. But then Dr. Chumley raised his voice and the conversation got rather heated.
Yeah? Why?
Well, Harvey seemed to feel that Dr. Chumley should be somewhat financially responsible for the joining that evening, but he didn't want to seem to do that.
Well, I can believe that part of it.
All right. Let him go on for a little bit. I want to see just how far this guy is willing to go.
Well, I agreed to take the whole thing. I didn't want there to be any trouble. We go down there quite often, Harvey and I. The proprietor there has an interesting approach to life. Then the other matter came up.
Well, quit the damn double talk and get on with it.
Mr. Wilson, I'd rather you didn't say such a thing in the presence of Miss Kelly. Aren't you a sincere young man?
You're right, Mr. Dowd, and we apologize, but you say the other matter came up?
Yes. There was this beautiful blonde woman, a Mrs. Smithers. Her escort had seated in the booth across from us. And Mrs. Smithers had joined him over there at his spot. Dr. Chumley had walked over and joined Mrs. Smithers, explaining that they had met once in Chicago. Her escort then escorted Dr. Chumley back to me and Harvey, and he pointed out that it'd be best for him to mind his own affairs for the evening. Does he have any?
Does he have any what?
Does he have any affairs?
Well, how should I know?
Please hurry, Mr. Dowd. We're all very worried about Dr. Chumley.
Well, Dr. Chumley and Harvey wanted to go someplace else. Dr. Chumley wanted to go to Betty's Chicken Inn. Harvey wanted to go to Eddie's place. Whilst they argued, I went up to the bar to grab another drink, and once I came back, they were gone.
What? Where did they go? Where did the doctor go?
Well, I figured that later on we'd join them and meet up with them, and we'd make a party out of it.
All right. You've heard his story. You satisfied? All right, buddy. You're lying and we know it.
I am not a liar, Mr. Wilson.
You've done something to the doctor, and I'm going to find out what it is.
Maybe he isn't lying, Wilson.
That's all this guy is, a bag of lies. You don't really believe this whole cock and bull story about the doctor sitting and talking to a big white rabbit, do you?
Maybe they did go down to Charlie's place.
And saw a big rabbit, I suppose.
And why should he? first, Harvey was there. First, the doctor seemed a little frightened of Harvey, but he warmed up to him as the evening wore on. The evening wore on. That is an interesting expression, and with your permission, I will say it again. The evening wore on.
With your permission, I will knock the taste down your throat.
Okay. Stand.
Mr. Dow?
Oh, yes, Miss Kelly? Oh, may I hold your hand?
Oh, well, I guess. Are you sure that's everything you remember? Miss Chumley must be so worried.
Miss Kelly, I'd almost lived my life over for you. Almost. But I've said it all.
You're sure?
I'm quite sure. But could you say that again? I just love the warm tone in your voice.
As did I.
Oh, nuts.
What?
Nuts.
Ah, well, if you'll excuse me, I have things to do.
What is it that you do, Mr. Dow?
That is an interesting story. Me and Harvey, we go down to Charlie's place. We sit at the booths and play jukebox, but others people's faces and turn towards ours at the bar. They ask, who are you? We don't know your name. What are you like? Me and Harvey warm ourselves in these golden moments. We have come in as strangers and will soon be friends. Well, and they talk to us. They tell us everything. They tell us all of the horrible things they have done, the wonderful things they will do, their loves, their dreams, their desires, and their hates. Nobody brings anything small into a bar. But then I introduce them to Harvey. He's much bigger and he is much grander than anything that they have ever seen. And those same people seldom, and they come right on back. But that's envy, my dear. There's a little bit of envy in all of us. Too bad, isn't it?
Mr. Dowd, how did you happen to call him Harvey?
Well, that's his name.
Perhaps, but how did you find out?
Well, that's a rather interesting story. I was walking out of Charlie's place, and just down the street and around the corner at around 19th and Fairfax. You know that street, Doctor?
Yes.
There was this big white rabbit leaning up against the lamppost, and Ed Hickey had been mixing his rye with his gin, and he was rather spiffed. So I helped him into a cab, and just down the street, I heard a voice saying, "How do you do, Mr. Dow?" Well, naturally, I walked over to him, because when you lived in a town for as long as I have, people know your name. So I walked on over to him, and we had a lovely conversation. He said, "Ed Hickey, he seems a bit spiffed, doesn't he?" He wasn't wrong. He was a bit spiffed. We continued talking throughout the evening, and then I finally asked him this question. I said, "Sir, you have me at a disadvantage. You know my name, and I don't know yours." And right back at me, he said, "Well, what would you like it to be?" Harvey. I've always loved the name Harvey. It's always been my favorite name. So I tell him, "Harvey." And this is the interesting part of the whole thing. He said, "Well, what a coincidence. My name just so happens to be Harvey."
Careful there, Mr. Dowd.
Thank you.
What was your father's name?
John Dowd.
Okay. Did you have a childhood best friend? Someone who you spent many carefree, happy-go hours with?
Oh, the McGinleys, Doctor. Did you know the McGinleys?
No.
Too bad. Nice people, wonderful people. Well circulated, too.
Mr. Dowd, just think carefully with me here, okay? Was there at any point anybody who you knew by the name of Harvey?
No, Doctor. Not that I can think of. Maybe that's why I've always been so fond of it.
Okay. Well, so we're done here. Take him on upstairs.
I will do no such thing. We've just been standing around, letting this cuckoo yap on and on, forgetting all about Dr. Chumley. Well, I've had enough of it. You've made it your circus, you run it. I want nothing more to do with it.
All right, Wilson. Come on down.
But, Doctor, I must...
Come on down!
Oh, boy. Dr. Chumley! Are you injured? Are you hurt? Are you injured?
Oh, I'm all right. Of course I'm all right. I'm being followed. Lock that door, Wilson.
Who's following you?
None of your business. I just climbed out my window. Wilson, you do not leave me now, you understand?
No, Doctor.
I want that man down out of here.
Yes, Doctor.
Wilson, where are you going?
You just told me to go get Dad.
No! Dunphy! On the telephone!
Mrs. Dunphy. Oh, you do. Thank you. Get Mr. Dowdy down here right away. Get his clothes. Dr. Chumley wants to speak to him right away. It's urgent.
Wilson!
Just be a minute, Doctor. Judge Gaffney.
I want to see Dr. Chumley.
I am Myrtle.
Chumley, we've got to talk to you. This thing's serious.
It certainly is.
Now, where can we go to talk?
Not in there.
The doctor doesn't want you in his office just right now.
No, sir.
All right, then. Sit down, Chumley. Sit down, Myrtle May.
Oh, sit down, Dr. Chumley. Sit down, Myrtle May. Hello, Wilson. Do not leave me.
Now, Chumley, I'm here to list the notes. The facts. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can all hear you. Is that good?
Now, Dr. Chumley, has it ever occurred to you that there might be such thing as this rabbit Harvey?
Well, of course there isn't. And anybody who thinks so is crazy. Well, don't look at me like that. There's nothing funny about me. I'm like my father's family. They're all dead.
Now then, my client, the plaintiff, on oath swears that on the day of November 2nd, she was standing in her kitchen. Then she heard her name called. She turned and saw this big, great white rabbit, Harvey. She was staring right at her. Resenting the intrusion, she made certain remarks and drove the creature from the room. He went.
And what did she say to him?
Oh, she was emphatic. The remarks are not important.
Unimportant. I want to know how that woman got that thing out of her sanitarium. Home. I mean home.
I hate to have you tell him, Judge. It isn't a bit like Mother.
Oh, quit stalling. Let's have it.
Well, she exclaimed at the creature in a heat of anger, "To hell with you!"
To hell with you, and it left?
Yes, it's left. But that's besides the point. The point is it perjury or is it something we can cope with? I'm asking for your opinion.
Ruthie, I've been looking all over for you.
Dr. Sanderson, disregard what I said this afternoon. You're an astute young man, and I want you on my staff.
Oh, Lyman, did you hear?
Oh, baby!
I'll be seeing you later.
Yes!
We've just got to keep Uncle Elwood out here.
No. I want this sanitarium the way it was before that man down came out here.
I know what you mean.
You do?
Well, certainly. It gets on anyone's nerves, the way Uncle Elwood knows what's going to happen before it happens. This morning, for instance, Uncle Elwood told us that Harvey told him that Mrs. McCallany's Aunt Rose was going to drop in on her unexpectedly tonight from Cleveland.
And did she?
Did she what?
Aunt Rose, did she drop in unexpectedly as the rabbit had anticipated?
Yes, those things always turn out the way Uncle Elwood says they will. But what of it? What do we care for McCallany's?
And you say this sort of thing happens often?
Oh, yes, and isn't it silly? I'm sorry, I'm all frazzled with this situation. Elwood says Harvey tells him everything. Harvey knows everything. Well, how can he when there's no such thing as Harvey?
Flies. I've been spending my life among flies, while miracles are leaning on left-balls on 18th and barebacks.
Good. Nobody but people here.
Oh, Mother, you promised you wouldn't come out here.
Well, good evening. Myrtle, I brought you your uncle's bathrobe. Well, why are you all just standing around here? I thought you'd be committing him.
Sit down there, girl.
No, I will not sit down there.
Hey, Myrtle, how about you and me stepping out Saturday night?
Certainly not. Myrtle, May, come here.
I'm sorry.
Is everything settled?
It will be.
Doctor, may I give you my opinion?
Yes, do, by all means.
His opinion. That's rich. Omar, that's the doctor I was talking to you about. The eyes.
The eyes. Well, it is of my opinion that Elwood P. Dowd suffers from third-degree hallucinations, and the opposing party is a victim of autosuggestion. Now, I would recommend formula 977 for Elwood and bed rest for...
You do?
I do. We've used it in thousands of psychopathic cases.
Psychopathic case? Don't you call my brother a psychopathic case? We've never had anything like that in our family.
But Mother, if you didn't think Uncle Elwood was psychopathic, then why did you bring him out here?
Where else could I put him? I couldn't put him in jail, could I? Oh, why did Harvey have to start speaking to him in the first place? A town full of people. Why did he have to bother Elwood?
Oh, stop putting your oar in and keep your oar out. If this shock formula brings people back to reality, then that's where we want to help with.
I'm not sure it would work in a case of this kind, Doctor.
It always has.
Harvey always follows Elwood home.
He does.
Yes, but if you give him the formula, then Elwood won't see Harvey. Then when he comes to the door, I'll deal with him.
Mother, won't you stop talking about Harvey as if there was such a thing?
Myrtle, you've got a lot to learn, and I hope you never learn it.
Here he is. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Elwood. I brought you your bathrobe.
Oh, did you, Peter? That was very kind of you. Thank you.
Well, certainly, we've got to do something about this.
Oh, yes, we must.
I should say so.
Yes, it's imperative or whatever.
Well, while you were all making up your minds, why don't we go down to Charlie's place and have a drink?
Oh, no, Elwood, you're not going anywhere. You're staying right here.
Yes, Uncle Elwood.
Stay here, son.
I want to go, you want me to stay. An element of conflict is good in any conversation. It means everybody's involved and nobody is left out. I like that. Oh, say, Dr. Chumley, how did you get along with Harvey?
We're waiting for your answer, Doctor.
What?
What is your decision?
I must be alone with this man. If you'll all step into the other room, I'll have my diagnosis in a moment.
Do hurry, doctor.
I will.
Oh, Elwood, you stay here.
Mr. Dow, can I get you a chair?
Sure.
Can I get you a cigar, perhaps?
Thank you.
Is there anything else I can get you, Mr. Dow?
Well, what did you have in mind?
Mr. Dow, what kind of man are you? Where do you come from?
Didn't I give you one of my cards?
And where on this tiled old earth did you find a thing like him?
Harvey? The puka?
Is it true that he gets advance notice, that he
gets advance notice? Yes, that is very true. He's very versatile.
What?
He can also stop clocks.
What?
Well, you've heard the expression, his face could stop a clock.
Yes, but to what purpose?
Well, Harvey says that he can look at your clock and stop it. You could go away for as long as you like, with whomever you like, and wherever you want. And when you come back, not a second would have ticked by.
You mean that he actually...
Well, Einstein has overcome time and space. Harvey has not only overcome time and space, but any objections.
That he does this for you?
Oh, no, I've never had the reason to do so. I've always had a wonderful time with whoever I'm with and wherever I'm at and whatever I'm doing. Like right now, Doctor, I'm having a great time with you. Corona, Corona.
I know where I go.
Where?
Good old Akron.
Akron?
There's a cottage camp outside Akron. A maple tree grove. Luscious, green, and beautiful.
There any trees there?
I want to go there with a pretty woman, a strange woman, a quiet woman.
Under a tree?
And then I wouldn't want to know her name. I'd just be Mr. Brown again.
Well, why wouldn't you want to know her name? You might be acquainted with the same people.
I would send out for cold beer, and I would talk to her. I would tell her things I don't tell my wife, things I don't tell anyone, things I keep locked in here. Then, of course, I'd send out for more cold beer.
Well, whiskey's better, and
beer is better.
She might prefer a highball.
I wouldn't let her talk to me, but as I talk to her, I want her to reach out her dainty little hand and stroke my head and say, "Oh, you poor, poor thing. You poor, poor thing."
How long would that go on?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Well, wouldn't that get monotonous?
No, it would be just wonderful.
Well, I certainly think you're making a mistake by not allowing that woman to talk. She may have picked up on some very interesting little news items, and I'm certain that you're making a mistake with all of that beer and no whiskey, but hey, it's your 2 weeks.
Cold beer, Akron, and one last fling. God, man!
Would you like to lie down for a while?
No. Tell me, Mr. Dow, would he do that for me?
Well, he can and he might. I've never heard him say anything against Akron. Say, Doctor, but where is Harvey?
You don't know?
Oh, no, last time I saw him, he was with you.
Ah,
Oh, he must be down at Charlie's
he must
place.
be down at Charlie's place.
Well, I'll be leaving now. I have to say goodbye to my friend, Dr. Sanderson.
Not in there. Dr. Sanderson is not your friend. None of those people in there are your friends. I am your friend, Dr. Sanderson.
Well, I'm happy to know that I'm your friend, too.
And this sister of yours, she's at the bottom of this conspiracy against you. She's been persuading me all day to have your commitment papers drawn up. She has the power to your attorney and the key to your safety box. Well, she brought you out here, didn't she?
Wait, my sister did all of that in one afternoon? She sure is a whirlwind.
God, man, do you not have any righteous indignation?
Well, my mother always said to me, Dowd, you must she'd always call me Dowd. Dowd, you must be, so smart and, so pleasant. For years I was smart. I recommend pleasant. You may quote me.
Just the same, Dowd, I'll protect you. I could have her committed if you'd like. Would you like me to commit her?
Well, I've always wanted Vida to have everything she needs, but I wouldn't want her to stay up here unless if she was willing to and wanted to. Oh, not that you don't have a wonderful place out here, but I just think she would have a much more wonderfuler time with me, Myrtle May, and Harvey. Oh, Miss Kelly! Diviner grace has never brought you to this enchanting face. Oh, that's Fifth Elegy. My darling, you have never looked lovelier.
Oh, Mr. Dowd, I've never been happier. Mwah!
Gee, this rabbit gag must be a good one. Miss Kelly's never kissed me.
Wonder if I remember any more of that poem.
Okay, pal, you're discharged. Come on.
Wilson! You take your hands off that man!
What?
Wilson, apologize to Mr. Dowd.
Apologize to this guy with the rabbit?
Wilson, apologize. Apologize.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Dowd. This is the door.
Well, if I use it, I'll remember you.
Mr. Dowd, do women often come up and kiss you as Miss Kelly did just now?
Oh, yes, Doctor, quite often.
Yes?
I encourage it, too.
Oh, to hell with decency. I have got to have that rabbit. Go ahead, Dowd. Knock.
All right, then I will.
Mr. Dowd.
Dr. Sanderson, I couldn't leave without...
Just hold on a moment now. Do you agree with my diagnosis, Doctor?
Yes. Bring them all in.
You got it. Mrs. Simmons, Gaffney?
Is it settled?
Yes, I find I concur with Dr. Sanderson.
Good.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a relief.
Well, let's celebrate. I've got some bars listed in the back of this book here that we can go to.
This injection carries a violent reaction. We'll need his consent to administer it. Will he give it?
Of course he will, when I ask him.
To give up that rabbit? I doubt it.
Don't ask him. Just give it to him.
Well, there's a Benny's Chicken Inn. There's...
Ilford.
Well, then we'll go to Benny's Chicken Inn. How many people are going, Vita? Should we phone in for a table?
Mr. Dowd, I have a formula 977 that I think could prove useful to your current situation.
Elwood, you won't see this rabbit anymore.
But you will see your responsibilities and your duties.
Well, Dr. Dr. Chudley, if you've thought of it, I'm sure that it's quite wonderful, and if anyone that I come across needs it, then I'll be happy to suggest it to them, but I can't say I can take it for myself.
Oh, hear that, Judge? Hear that, Doctor? That's what we have to put up with.
But Vita, do you want me to take this?
Oh, Elwood, you're my brother. I've known you for years. I'd do anything for you. That Harvey wouldn't do anything for you. He's making a fool out of you, Elwood. Don't be a fool.
I'm not being a fool.
Oh, you could become something. You could be on the Western Slope Waterboard right now if only you go up and you ask him.
Well, all right, Vita, if that's how you feel. Me and Harvey will take it. We'll come up here tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow? I don't want to see another tomorrow. Not if Bertolet and I have to live in that house with that rabbit. We have no social life. No life at all. Our friends never come to see us. We're both miserable. I wish I were dead. But maybe you don't care.
Vita, are you sure you want me to take this? All right, Doctor, where do I go?
In Dr. Sanderson's office, Mr. Dowd. I'll show you the way.
Okay.
How long will this take, Doctor?
Just a few minutes. Why don't you all wait?
We'll wait.
Dr. Sanderson said it wouldn't take long.
Now, Mother, don't fidget.
Oh, how can I help it?
Oh, how lovely! Mother, couldn't you see me in a house coat of this color?
Yes, dear, just let me get a good night's sleep first.
Come in.
I'm looking for a little short...
Oh, there you are. Lady, you jumped out of the cab without paying me.
Oh, yes, I forgot. How much was it?
All the way out here from town, $2.75.
$2.75? Well, I could have sworn I brought my coin purse. Myrtle, do you have any money?
I spent that money Uncle Elwood gave me for my new hairdo for the party.
Judge, do you have any money you can give this man?
Sorry, nothing but a check.
We don't take checks.
I know.
Dr. Chumley, do you have $2.75 I can borrow to pay this cab driver?
No, don't tap my wallet on me. Sorry, got to get on with this injection now. Goodbye!
Well, I'm sorry. I'll have to get the money for you from my brother. He's here to get an injection. You'll just have to wait.
You telling me you're gonna get my money from your brother, and he's in there to get some of that stuff they shot you?
Yes, it only will be a few minutes.
Lady, I want my money now.
But I told you it would only be a few minutes. Besides, I want you to drive us back into town.
And I told you, I want my money now. I'm nosing the cab back to town, and you can take the bus at 6 in the morning.
Well, of all the pig-headed, stubborn things, I should say so.
Oh, what's the matter with you?
None of that $2.75 won't fix. You heard me. Take it or leave it.
Well, of all the unreasonable things, oh, Dr. Chumley, could you have Elwood step out here for a moment? This cab driver won't wait.
Better make it quick.
Elwood, I came off without my coin purse. Can you give this man $2.75 for his troubles? Don't give him any more. He's been very rude.
Well, good evening, sir. My name's Elwood P. Dowd. Pleasure to meet you.
Law friend's mine. You check.
Oh, well, this is my wonderful sister, Vita Louise Simmons, and this is my charming little niece, Myrtle May Simmons, Judge Omar Gaffney, and Dr. Chumley.
Hi.
Say, how long have you lived here? Do you live around here?
Yeah, I lived around here all my life.
Well, that's very interesting. How long have you worked here?
My work, it's okay. I've been with Apex Cabs 15 years. My brother Joe's been working for Brown Cabs pretty near 12.
Your brother, Joe for Brown, and you for Apex. That's rather interesting. Here, let me give you one of my cards.
Get on with it, Mr. Dowd.
Well, me, my sister, and my charming little niece would love to meet you at this address. Would you like to come over for dinner sometime?
Sure, be glad to.
Oh, when would you be glad to?
Couldn't do any night but Tuesday. On duty all the rest of the week.
Well, Tuesday it is. We'll see you there.
Elwood, I'm sure this man has friends of his own.
Oh, you can never have too many friends, Vina.
Elwood, you mustn't keep Dr. Chumley waiting. It's very rude.
Oh, here, take the money. Keep the change. It's been very wonderful meeting you. And I'll see you Tuesday.
A sweet guy. Certainly. You could have just as well waited. Oh, no, listen, lady. I've been driving this route 15 years. Running out there to get that stuff, drove back after they had it. Changes them. Well, I certainly hope it does. And you ain't kidding. On the way out here, they sit back and enjoy the ride. They talk to me. Sometimes we stop and watch the sunsets and look at the birds flying. Sometimes we watch the birds when there ain't no birds, and look at the sunsets when it's raining. We have a swell time, and I get a big tip. But afterwards, what do you mean afterwards? What do you mean? They crab. They yell at me to watch the lights, watch the brakes, watch the intersections, and scream at me to hurry. They got no faith in me or my buggy. Yet it's the same cat, the same driver, and we're going back over the very same road. It's no fun and no tips. Well, my brother would have tipped you anyways. He's very generous, always has been. Oh no, not after this he won't be. Lady, after this, he'll be a perfectly normal human being. And you know what bastards they are. Let him enter. I'll wait. Oh, Judge Gaffney. Myrtle May. Oh, stop it! Don't give it to him! Elwood, you come out of there! I don't stop it! What Elwood that way? I don't want Elwood to have it. I don't like people like that. Oh, you shut up. I've lived longer than you. I remember my father. I remember your father. I remember...
Now what is all this commotion?
What's the matter, Doctor? Is she sounding off again?
She wants to stop the injection.
You haven't given it to him already, have you?
No, but we're ready to. Wilson, take Miss Simmons away. She's feeling under the weather.
Whoa! Leave your me alone! Take your hands off of me!
Oh, you didn't know what you wanted. You didn't want that rabbit either.
What's wrong with Harvey? If Elwood and Myrtle May and I were to live with Harvey, it's nothing to you. It's our business. Elwood! Are you in there? Come out! Elwood! Elwood!
Oh, I'm very glad to see you, Vina. You must excuse her, everybody. She's had a very long night.
Come on, Elwood. Oh, I hate this place. I wish I'd never seen it.
Well, I'm going back to the club. I'm not giving up that game, no matter how big the animal is.
Why? That's funny. It was there all along. I could have paid that cab driver myself. Harvey. Oh, come along, Elwood. Come along, Myrtle. Hurry up.
But see here, you're...
It's whatever Vina says, Doctor.
Come on, Elwood.
Oh, I'll be out there in a minute. See, Doctor, for years I've always known what my family thinks of Harvey, but I've often wondered what Harvey's family thinks of me. Don't you think that's rather peculiar? Harvey! Oh, I've been looking all over for you. Thank you. Bring it in. I've been looking all over for you. Had me worried sick. I could see you at Charlie's place. It's a long story. I'll catch you up. But Vita's got a cab outside. Yes, she'd be lovely to meet you. Come on. Oh, you have to open the door. Goodbye, Dr. Chumley.
Mr.